Imagine a world where cars don't just run on electricity or fossil fuels, but in water. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, that is what Toyota made. We all know that EVs have led the green automotive movement for years, but this thing is like magic. It takes in water and emits water vapor. That is why this will be the end of the entire EV industry. But there is a whole lot more to this story than you need to know. So make sure to watch the entire video, or because you don't want to miss this. First, why is this a huge deal? This innovation builds on Toyota's extensive experience with hydrogen fuel cells, but it's a leap forward in efficiency and scalability. Why? Because this time, Toyota isn't just developing a new engine, they're making it practical for everyday use, which should revolutionize our approach to energy and transportation. Toyota's new engine concept uses an ingenious method to extract hydrogen from water to power the car. It involves a catalyst that splits water molecules into hydrogen and oxygen, with the hydrogen then used as fuel. That is how this car emits water vapor, making it one of the greenest technologies out there. And talk about perfect timing, right? The EV scene is evolving fast, and it's not all sunshine and rainbows. And to be honest, this might just be the end for EVs because this new engine is way better than all the EVs we have seen. Let me break it down for you. Benefits over EV. Sure, EVs are the darlings of clean transportation, but let's get real for a second. Those batteries? They're causing some serious head-scratching about their eco-friendliness. From digging up the materials to figuring out what to do with them when they're toast, it's a whole can of worms. Even the Toyota's boss, Akio Toyoda, is raising an eyebrow at the EV hype train. He's not buying that EVs are the be-all and end-all of green driving. Why? Well, they've got their limitations and people aren't exactly lining up around the block to buy them. This bad boy could be the alternative we have been dreaming of. Imagine ditching those pricey, resource-hungry lithium-ion batteries. If Toyota pulls this off, we're talking about flipping the script on the whole EV obsession. We could be looking at a future where our rides are diverse and we will have options. But there is more to this story than just cool cars. And get this, they're not going at it alone. Toyota is teaming up with the government and other big players to make sure the rules of the game support this crazy innovation. It's like they're building a whole new playground for clean tech. But here's where it gets really wild. This water engine technology isn't just for your daily commute. Toyota's got visions of hydrogen-powered trucks hauling cargo across the country and factories running on the stuff. They're dreaming up a whole hydrogen economy that could be a total game changer for both our wallets and Mother Earth. Toyota's water engine could be the start of something huge. And they're thinking big picture here. They're not just tinkering with engines, they're planning a whole hydrogen-powered revolution. We're talking about cranking the code on making, storing, and moving hydrogen like it's no big deal. This not only cuts down emissions, but also offers a more sustainable alternative to electric vehicles. Now, I know you're thinking that this is too good to be true. You're sort of right. Everyone who has tried it has failed. But why hasn't it worked for everyone else? This idea has fascinated minds since the dawn of the automobile. Water is everywhere, it's renewable, and it seems like a never-ending resource. No wonder inventors have been fixated on turning this life-giving liquid into the driving force behind our vehicles. Throughout history, brilliant minds, armed with nothing but creativity and a belief in their wildest ideas, have attempted to pull energy from this abundant resource. Now, I know what you're thinking. Water's everywhere, so it must be an endless energy source, right? Wrong. Water is more like a sneaky middleman than an energy source. It's not pumping out energy on its own, it's just carrying it around like a molecular backpack. And one of the most common methods they've tried is electrolysis. This process splits water into hydrogen and oxygen using electricity. When these gases come together, they produce energy that could theoretically power an engine. Sounds brilliant in theory, right? But the system has to be so efficient that it generates more energy than it uses. And that's been the stumbling block all along. So the big challenge now for Toyota is making sure their water engine isn't an energy vampire sucking up more juice than it spits out. The laws of thermodynamics are crystal clear. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transformed. Extracting energy from water sounds great, but it requires more energy to get the process started than the energy we get out of it. In short, it's not efficient. That is why all previous attempts at water-powered vehicles have been about as reliable as a chocolate teapot. They've had more mood swings than a teenager, making them about as practical for daily use as a unicycle on a highway. The result? Bad reputation. History is littered with self-proclaimed geniuses who claimed they cracked the code in water-powered propulsion. From garage inventors to big-name visionaries, their promises often sounded like they were lifted straight from a science fiction novel. Yet, most of these claims have turned out to be either misunderstandings of basic physics or outright deception. Take Stanley Meyer, for instance. In the 1990s, he strutted onto the scene with his so-called water-fueled cell. Meyer's invention was supposed to split water into hydrogen and oxygen with minimal energy input. The media lapped it up, and investors were eager, but the scientific community was skeptical from the start. Eventually, Meyer's device was debunked as a fraud. His untimely death only added a touch of mystery to an already murky story. Then, there was Genesis World Energy in 2002, boasting a device that could extract energy from water. They raked in investor cash but never delivered a working product. Their owner, Patrick Kelly, ended up in jail for fraud in 2006. In that same year, Genepex made headlines when a Sri Lankan named Tushara Priyaldi Singha claimed he drove a car 190 miles in just 3 liters of water. Even the Prime Minister backed it. But Tushara was later arrested for fraud. His claims, like many before him, were widely exaggerated. More recently, in 2022, an Indonesian inventor named Arianto Mel introduced the Incuba device, claiming it could convert water into hydrogen fuel. He said it could power motorcycles for 500 kilometers on a single liter of water, and he claimed big names like Lamborghini and Ferrari were interested. Scientists in Indonesia, however, debunked his claims, stating they defied the laws of physics. But beyond all of this, there is one thing that has been a source of major concern. And I don't know about you, but when I hear hydrogen, my mind immediately goes to the Hindenburg disaster. Not exactly the association you want with your family car, right? Hydrogen's got a bit of a reputation as the wild child of the elemental world. It's like that one friend who's always up for a good time but might accidentally set your kitchen on fire. It's volatile, which is a fancy way of saying it likes to cause danger. So, Toyota's got to put on their safety goggles and get to work. We're talking rigorous testing, failed safes on top of failed safes, and probably a team of engineers losing sleep over every possible what-if scenario. If Toyota can crack this nut, we're looking at a transportation revolution. And according to Toyota, they've already cracked the code. But how? What is the magic behind it? Now, of course, they're keeping lots of details hush-hush. I'll tell you every piece of information that is available as simply as possible. So watch carefully. At the core of Toyota's water engine is electrolysis, which we already talked about. And if you've been following along, then you know there is one huge problem with this method: efficiency. So what is Toyota's solution? Well, they've made significant progress in addressing the challenges associated with hydrogen engines, and they didn't reveal a lot, but one particular trick they have is with their water-cooled hydrogen combustion engine. This technology involves injecting a fine mist of water into the combustion chamber, which helps lower the temperature and pressure, leading to a cleaner and more efficient burn of the fuel. This innovation boosts engine power and efficiency. Plus, in Toyota's water engine, a catalyst speeds up the reaction, making the process more efficient. This catalyst breaks down the water molecules faster, producing more hydrogen in less time. And that is not all. They've got one secret weapon, and that is what powers this whole process: renewable energy sources like solar and wind. By using green energy to produce hydrogen, Toyota's water engine not only slashes emissions, but also reduces the vehicle's overall carbon footprint. It's a double win for the planet. This is not a simple thing to accomplish, so you might be asking, why is Toyota putting so much faith in hydrogen? Simple. They see it as the future of clean energy, capable of transforming how we power our lives. So, what is the plan here? Well, Toyota is about to make a brand new hydrogen factory set to launch this year. This isn't just any factory, it's a game changer in Toyota's quest to dominate the hydrogen revolution. It is going to be a centralized hub that's not just about manufacturing, but about redefining how we think about clean energy. By packing development, production, and sales all under one roof, Toyota is aiming to spark a new era of collaboration and efficiency. Imagine a place where every cog in the machine works seamlessly together, cutting costs, boosting innovation, and speeding up the creation of cutting-edge hydrogen technology. Sounds exciting, right? One of the factory's big goals is to make Toyota lightning fast when it comes to adapting to market shifts and customer needs. By uniting their top brains and resources, they're not just making decisions quicker, they're setting the stage to roll out new hydrogen products faster than ever. In a world where technology evolves at breakneck speed, staying ahead of the pack is crucial. This factory is Toyota's ticket to keeping up that competitive edge. And let's not forget about research and development. This new facility is going to be a hotbed of innovation. Toyota's plan is to crank up the volume and making hydrogen production more efficient, slashing costs, and pushing the boundaries of the fuel cell performance. With all their best minds in one place, the breakthroughs in hydrogen technology are bound to be impressive. It's like giving a booster shot to the future of clean energy. The factory won't just be about making hydrogen, it will be about creating a whole ecosystem around it. By centralizing everything from production to sales, Toyota is aiming to streamline the supply chain, cut expenses, and make hydrogen fuel more accessible. This isn't just about making hydrogen a viable option, it's about making it the go-to choice for consumers looking to switch from traditional fuels. Of course, Toyota's shiny new factory is just one piece of the puzzle. For hydrogen to really take off, it will need a push from governments, industries, and us, consumers. And Toyota knows that when it comes to tech, teamwork makes the dream work. By joining forces with leading names in the hydrogen world, they're looking to streamline their supply chain, share risks, and push the envelope on fuel cell technology. It's not just about making hydrogen, it's about making it better, faster, and more cost-effective. These alliances span everything from hydrogen production and storage to distribution and fuel cell components. Toyota's aim? To pool knowledge and resources, speeding up the development of the next-gen fuel cells that will drive the future of hydrogen technology. Think of it as Toyota's way of turbocharging their efforts with the help of industry giants. But as of now, the big players in this sector, the ones that can make a difference, are really focused on EVs. So how will they make this a reality? Well, they have a few tricks up their sleeves. Let's dissect each. The scheme. Toyota gets it. To make hydrogen a household name, they need to think globally but act locally. That means setting up research and development and production facilities tailored to different regions. Imagine having specialized labs and factories in key markets across the globe designed to meet local needs and conditions. This setup is all about speeding up development, cutting costs, and staying nimble with regional regulations and customer preferences. It's like having a global strategy with a local twist, making sure every market gets what it needs to thrive. And there is more to it than just efficiency. This localized approach helps Toyota build stronger ties with local governments, research institutions, and industry players. It's all about forging close collaborations that let them tap into local expertise and resources, overcome challenges faster, and set up hydrogen infrastructure where it's needed most. But is there one more secret sauce behind Toyota's strategy? Reducing fuel cell costs? Right now, hydrogen technology is a bit like that high-end gadget you'd love to own but can't quite afford. So, Toyota is on a mission to change that with some seriously ambitious cost-cutting goals for hydrogen fuel cells. These are the magic components that turn hydrogen into electricity, powering the vehicle. Toyota is setting its sights on slashing the cost of these stacks by a jaw-dropping 50%. Yes, you read that right. 50%. How? Well, Toyota's game plan is all about refining and innovating. First up, they're on a quest to find better, more affordable materials for these fuel cell stacks. Think of it like swapping out premium ingredients for something more budget-friendly without compromising on quality. By doing this, they're aiming to cut manufacturing costs down to size. Next, they're jazzing up their manufacturing processes with automation and efficiency tweaks. It's like giving their production line a high-tech makeover, which should translate into faster, cheaper production. Just like Tesla did with their factories, but there's more to the cost-cutting strategy, and it is all based on one thing: commercialization. As demand for hydrogen fuel cells ramps up, Toyota plans to ramp up production too. The more they make, the cheaper each unit becomes, kind of like buying in bulk at a warehouse store. This means they'll be able to lower prices, making hydrogen vehicles more accessible to everyday drivers. They're aiming for a 37% reduction in next-generation fuel cell systems, setting the stage for even bigger savings down the line. And here is where it gets even more exciting. Toyota is gunning for orders of 200,000 fuel cell vehicles by 2030. This isn't just about hitting sales targets, it's about creating a snowball effect. More orders mean more fuel cells are produced, which drives down costs and boosts demand for hydrogen infrastructure. But what's been holding hydrogen-powered commercial vehicles back all this time? One major hurdle has been the tricky business of hydrogen storage. And Toyota is stepping up to the plate with a smart solution: multi-hydrogen tank systems. Instead of cramming one huge tank into a vehicle, imagine several smaller tanks scattered strategically throughout. This clever setup not only makes better use of space, but also boosts safety. If one tank were to fail, the impact would be minimized, keeping everything running smoothly. Toyota's focus is also on developing hydrogen-powered heavyweights like trucks and buses. These giants of the road are perfect candidates for hydrogen fuel cells, given their need for long-distance travel and heavy lifting. Hydrogen-powered commercial vehicles can zoom past battery electric vehicles with longer ranges and quicker refueling times. This means less downtime and more productivity on the road. Now, for hydrogen to really take off in the commercial sector, standardization is key. And Toyota is all in on this, working to establish universal standards for hydrogen tank sizes and connectors. The goal? Make it easier to integrate these systems into various vehicles, cut costs, and speed up the rollout of hydrogen fueling stations. Think of it as setting up the ultimate support network for hydrogen to thrive. But what will be its impact? What will it change? Well, the biggest thing this will do is flip the entire EV industry on its head. We're talking a game changer that might just leave Tesla and BYD in the dust. It's like introducing smartphones to a world of flip phones. Imagine a world where you can refuel your car as easily as filling up a water bottle. No more hunting for charging stations or planning your road trip around where you can plug in your ride. This water engine technology is promising to be easier on your wallet than both gas guzzlers and electron munchers. We might be looking at a future where you measure your mileage in gallons of water. How's that for a refreshing change? Plus, it's promising to leave current EVs in its wake when it comes to performance. We're talking acceleration, range, and performance so consistent that it makes a Swiss watch look unreliable. You see, the water engine's design is simpler than solving 2 + 2. This means easier production, simpler maintenance, and potentially lower costs all around. For us regular people, this means more choice in the eco-friendly car aisle. I'm really excited, but what do you think? Let's know in the comments. Thanks for watching and see you on the next video.